Viola Manuel, MOT Country Director. You joined the MOT team as the Country Director in August 2021. You are, of course, an accomplished senior executive with extensive experience in both strategy and implementation. You have an impressive track record. I was looking at your very brief bio and I was saying, wow, wow, wow. Unfortunately, I can't go through all of your accolades and achievements. We'll leave it for another time when we will unpack all of that. But of course, you've sat on many boards, pardon, and you have received multiple award nominations. So let's kick off by understanding exactly who is MOT, what are they all about? And you being the country director for MOT here in South Africa, what exactly is your brief?
Good morning, Julie, and good morning to all of the listeners. It is such a privilege and an honor, and I'm really humbled to be able to share with you a little bit about our organization called MOT South Africa. Now, just very quickly, MOT is pronounced MOT because it's actually a Norwegian word that means courage. I know in Afrikaans we would spell it differently, but it's a word that speaks about courage, and we speak about the courage to live, the courage to care, and the courage to say no, which is such important aspects for us to consider when we think about our youth today. Now, the main focus for MOT South Africa is to bring values back into the lives of our kids. And of course, also by doing that, providing them with solid, steady values, we feel that we will also then help them in terms of creating a foundation for their mental health and their mental resilience. And in terms of the research being conducted by MOT South Africa, we have seen that definitely has that impact. The MOT program has the impact of not just building on their mental health and mental resilience, but also improving academic performance. And in terms of our colleges, helping with the retention of students from first year to second year, when many of them fall off. And fall out of the education space because of just various challenges. So, Julie, that's a little bit about who we are and what we do. We work mainly with schools, high schools, and colleges within Western Cape, but across South Africa as well.
Now, it is Youth Month. We've just come out of Youth Day yesterday, and we do know that this particular day and month holds profound historical and cultural significance for us as South Africans. As country director for MOT South Africa, how do you perceive the importance of Youth Day in empowering our youth, particularly in our country?
Julie, I think it's such an important day. I think the older generation really have a very solid and very close connection to the Soweto uprisings. Many of our parents and many of us, I'm giving my age away now, but we're influenced and really were sort of part of responding to the legislation that was brought where we were going to be taught in, sort of 50-50 English Afrikaans in our schools. But I do find that the youth of today are quite distant from that. If you bumped into young people on the street and you said to them, do you know anything about June 16th and Soweto uprisings? There's many of them that are going to not know why they're celebrating Youth Day. And to me, that's very sad. And I really think that should be placed squarely in the domain of our guardians and our parents and our educators who should be spending time talking to our kids and educating them on the sacrifices that were made. So it is a very, very important day, but I do feel that as time moves, we are distant, the youth finding themselves further and further, distant from the significance of the day. So for many of them, it's just a public holiday, the significance is lost. But we had a fantastic, fantastic Youth Day celebration yesterday, which I'll tell you more about when you ask me about that.
Okay, great stuff. In what way does Youth Day continue to inspire and motivate the youth of South Africa in the current socio-political landscape, given your concerns? And let me also say that I share the very same concerns, that the youth of today are far removed from the issues that we were subjected to as young people back in the day. Apartheid in its rawest form,
Yes.
And just the humiliation and the hardship we and our parents obviously were subjected to back in the
Yeah.
day.
Yeah.
Perhaps we need to rethink how we shape this public holiday, June the 16th, and we should be having more conversations around our
Yeah.
history during the struggle, so that people, young people, realize where we've been, where we're at, and hopefully where we're headed for. Those are my
Yes.
personal thoughts. How do you feel about it?
I share your sentiment. I do, however, want to say that for the socio-economic political landscape of South Africa has got such such strong feelings for people because it's about their daily bread. There is definitely a vote of no confidence in terms of some of our political systems, our social systems. We said, I think it was yesterday that the Star announced that there was going to be this CODESA 2.0 where the government were going to start focusing on things like youth unemployment, and they were going to start focusing on inequality and so on, and create sort of a 30-day plan, which is great. But together with that report came the fact that it's going to cost us 700 million rand to pull that together for 1,000 days.
And
So we have to sit
and let me
down.
just come in there. Let me just come in there. 30 years too late.
Yes, but more importantly, when you think of our youth and you think about Youth Day and you think about what we should be discussing with them, there's no place for that narrative at the moment because there's like so many issues to discuss: gender-based violence and so on, the increase in unemployment, specifically, excuse me, for our youth, and then of course even the kids who have jobs, that number's decreasing. So it's there's some really pertinent issues that are burning on the front burners for many of us in the youth space. And so just taking the time to reimagine Youth Day and trying to figure out how do we create a narrative around Youth Day that's actually going to have some kind of impact with our youth. And so our choice as Mood South Africa was to really talk about opportunities and grabbing and seizing and just grabbing opportunities with both hands, because we do feel that with our youth being in the space that they are with this high unemployment rate, and there's many reasons for it. Our youth have become discouraged, they are disillusioned, they have they just have no interest in participating in a space that could possibly change it. They've literally thrown their hands up in the air and said, you know what, all they're trying to do is just survive another day. And so the Mood program, in terms of building just a level of mental resilience that says, even if you've heard your third or fourth no, continue to try and enter the job market. Find yourself, upskill yourself, look at your attitude, look at your levels of confidence, look at your levels of self-esteem, work on that. And so for us, our theme for Youth Day and for the whole of Youth Month is there are opportunities. Are you willing to grab them, or are you just so disillusioned that opportunities pass you by? So that's really been our focus. So as much as there's got to be education on what's happened in our past, and it is so important. I think you, Juliet, you and I share that sentiment. I do think that we also need to be saying to our kids, there is a future ahead of you, but what you do and the choices you make and how you respond to the opportunities, whether those opportunities are draped in hard work, extra homework, having to do more within your community. If the opportunity is draped that way, don't see it as an unattractive opportunity. Look at how you can take that opportunity and make that opportunity work for you. So I think that's really been our choice in terms of how we were going to, in spite of everything going on our socio-economic political landscape, we decided that that was going to be our theme and the way we were going to create a narrative for Youth Month celebrations with Wood.
Wonderful. Did the youth embrace that idea? Did you find that they got excited about it? Because when we talk about our youth and we talk about all of the challenges that they faced with it, let me just remind you, we will be going for an ad break in a minute or two. So let's see how we go. You can respond to my question after the break. But as you were speaking, lots of things popped into my head. Earlier on, you spoke about unemployment, you spoke about GBV issues, and crime, and you kind of wonder how this is all interconnected without justifying. I mean, GBV can never be justified. However, when you are in the depths of despair, and that is when you sometimes make the wrong choices, don't you? When you see absolutely no light at the end of the tunnel, that's when perhaps you get caught up in crime, in drugs, which then ultimately leads to GBV issues. So it's really about the chicken and egg situation. What do you address first? What do you target to then rid society of all the other ills? I will let you respond to that long commentary of mine right after the ad break. It is 14 minutes after 11 o'clock. Let's go for the ad break. And when we come back, we will continue our discussion with Viola Manuel. She is the MOT country director here in South Africa.
Meal of the day. Yet many children go to school hungry because of poverty. Penny Appeal South Africa's Breakfast Club aims to get a warm, hearty meal to underprivileged children so they can spend their day prospering in their schoolwork. Help feed a needy learner for only 5 Rand a day or 150 Rand a month. Or visit our website www.pennyappeal.org.za or call 031 1100 573 to find out how you can donate. Penny Appeal South Africa. Small change, big difference. When the perfect blend of stylish decor, exquisite halal cuisine, and warm hospitality come together, it could only mean Albeit Lodge, your true home away from home. Albeit is the ideal heaven for families, business people, and tourists with its 4-star family rooms and other luxurious facilities, conveniently situated close to Port Elizabeth Airport, the beach, and other amenities. Your stay will be truly unforgettable, as you'll be taking home lasting memories of the warm hospitality, the serenity and tranquility that Albeit has to offer. For reservations, call 041 583 6415 or visit www.albeitlodge.co.za.
Yasin Badat Financial Advisory. Are your financial goals feeling out of reach? Yasin Badat Financial Advisory is here to turn your aspirations into achievements. Our dedicated team, armed with a history of success, is ready to guide you through the complex nature of financial and investment planning. Whether you're a seasoned investor or new to the game, our personalized solutions cater to your unique goals and risk appetite. Trust in our commitment to transparency, integrity, and excellence. Ready to unlock a world of financial freedom? Partner with us today. Call Yasin Badat Financial Advisory at +27 33 346 2071 or visit www.yasinbadat.com. Yasin Badat Financial Advisory, guiding you to financial success.
Abu Huraira narrated that he heard the Prophet Muhammad, may the peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, say, "In black seed there is a healing for every disease except death." Experience the health benefits of this ancient blessed seed by using the Tib Black Seed range. Black seed assists the body to boost immunity, regulate blood sugar levels, reduce inflammation, and act as a potent antioxidant. Experience a holistic approach to health by introducing the Tib Black Seed range into your routine. Available in capsules, pure cold-pressed oil, and a vapor rub. Trust Tib Health Sciences for quality black seed products. For more information, visit blackseed.co.za. Available at leading pharmacies.
Hey, Gulam.
Yeah?
Did I return your lawnmower last month?
No, bye, you didn't.
Oh, no. Now what'll I do? I wanted to borrow it again, man.
With Randry Jewelers, you won't have to borrow or lend because the prices are so well trimmed on all gold and diamond jewelry. Alternatively, we could remake your old jewelry into a brilliant new design. Visit Randry Jewelers at 151 Stevens Lamini Road, Musgrave, Durban. Randry Jewelers, the family name you can trust.
Rejuvenating media day by day. This is Salaamedia.
Welcome back. My guest is Viola Manuel. She's the MOT Country Director in South Africa. We're talking Youth Day, and of course, I think it's most appropriate to put this question to Viola. Can you give us an overview of the campaigns MOT South Africa is launching during Youth Month, and what would be MOT's primary goals and aims to achieve through these campaigns?
Thanks, Julie. Our campaign is called Voices of Courage. And we usually have that campaign over the sort of youth month period and through the month of June. The big challenge for us, of course, was that youth month was in smack bang in the middle. Youth Day was smack bang in the middle of exams. So we had our Youth Day celebration, but we will continue working with our youth on the 26th and 27th of this month. Towards the school holidays. And again, our theme really has been about having the voice of courage to speak about and to ask about and to pursue opportunities that are presented. The whole idea for us was really to make sure that our youth are encouraged to do that. And we had lots of interaction, lots of games with them, lots of activities making that point. And they really, I mean, their enthusiasm was contagious yesterday. It was just fantastic being with them. You know, they just really seem to be very excited about what we were proposing. On the 26th and 27th, we'll have a very strong, focused program for our youth, focusing mainly on how to build CVs, and in terms of our partnerships with Wakamusa, and then, of course, the City of Cape Town, as well as the Junior City Council of the City of Cape Town. We were able to really present them with fantastic opportunities, talking to them about how to get some of the tools they need to actually navigate the next phase of their lives. So Wakamusa has partnered with us, and we are busy helping them to design CVs. We're also going to be speaking to them the next day about how to address and conduct yourself in an interview, how to prepare for your interview, how to present yourself in your interview. And all these skills are so important when we consider how many kids are actually growing up in child-headed households, or in absent parent households where parents are leaving at the crack of dawn and coming back when kids are about ready to get into bed, where conversations around how to prepare yourself for an interview, what you need for your CV, how was your day at school, those conversations are not happening in their homes. So we really do need to be providing these skills to our kids. And so that's what our focus is going to be for the 26th and 27th.
And clearly, when you talk about child-headed households, you are referring to mainly the indigenous population in our country, and rightly so too. What outcomes does MOT anticipate from the successful implementation of these campaigns?
So our outcomes really are well documented. We spend a lot of time getting feedback from our young people. We also had an opportunity to present them with a survey on the day, just asking them how they felt about the activities. Just from all accounts, just anecdotally, they really enjoyed it. You know, there was lots of dancing, lots of singing, lots of enjoyment, lots of very intense discussion. We had fantastic poetry. We had fantastic, we had a marimba band. You know, we had really great engagement. What we would like to do and continue to do is always sort of touch base with our young people. So I'm going to suggest that the audience follows us on our socials, #MOT South Africa, and we're on all the major social platforms, because it will be there that we will upload videos from kids actually talking about how they experienced the day, how they experienced the campaign, and of course the impact it's had on their lives. We know that when we start looking at these, creating these narratives with our kids about how to prepare them for the future, it's daunting. They're very, very concerned about their futures. But when they can find organizations that are willing to help them and just direct them and support them and walk with them, they're very, very good in terms of responding to those attempts to be of assistance.
So it sounds to me clearly that MOT's focus in South Africa is on upskilling and uplifting the youth of the country. And that kind of almost or readily ties in with the problems we are faced with our young people in their futures. Something we've touched on earlier on, and that is unemployment, crime, gender-based violence, etc., etc. So has that been the focus of MOT South Africa from the time they came into the country, and how long have they been around?
So we've been around for 15 years, Julie, and I'm going to actually just use this as a platform to talk through the fact that, you know, when we are expecting our children to navigate from adolescence to adulthood. We're asking them to cross a major expanse, a major roaring, raging river, and we've given them a broken bridge. As adults, we've broken that bridge. We've decimated it. And we've decimated it through our attitudes towards our youth, through not investing in our youth. As adults, we have a lot to apologize for in terms of this generation of young people. So we're asking them to make that transition across from adolescence to adulthood across a very, very broken structure. And the result of that is, instead of getting safely to the other side, many of our young people are falling into that raging river, and many of them are lost. What MOT looks to do very proactively is we look to help build a more solid structure, a more solid bridge for them to actually engage with, and so that they can cross over and transition into adulthood more successfully, with fewer of them being lost. And the way we do that is through our 3 values: the courage to care, the courage to live, the courage to say no. Because we believe once the kids have engaged with those 3 values through the school system, where we work with schools for 3 years, it's not a quick fix, where we work with colleges for 3 years, once we've successfully navigated through that, we know that we have safer transitions for our kids. Our kids have a higher level of mental health. They have a higher level of robustness. They have a level of engaging with life that actually does allow them to come out on the other side as victors, because their confidence is much better, their self-esteem is much better. They're able to engage with people in a more meaningful manner. So that's really, Julie, what we've been doing over the last 15 years, and successfully so. If you look at our research on our website, and I'm going to again encourage the listeners to visit us on our website, to mut.org.za. Visit us on our website, go and see some of the research that's been conducted in terms of how impactful our program has been in the lives of young people.
Let's wrap up then. And you did indicate that MOT has been in South Africa for the past 15 years. Does your research indicate how many lives you've touched through your various programs over the years? Part of one of my question, and part 2 as we wrap up, is beyond Youth Month. How does MOT plan to sustain the momentum and continue empowering the youth throughout the year?
Yes, that's a great question. So first, let me answer the first one. If you visit our website, you'll see our stats and see the impact that we've made. And that's just direct. That's the direct impact. So we haven't even started to report on those sort of the indirect impact. You know, one of the things that we found very interesting in the last bit of research is that many of our MOT coaches, our educators who are MOT coaches and actually do the training to our youth in schools, many of them are saying we're actually able to take these values into our homes. So that's the one thing that we haven't looked at. But in terms of creating the momentum, for us, Youth Day is throughout the whole year. You know, we have all these reinforcement activities. We've had in the first quarter of this year, we had our Hello campaign, which is a very simple campaign. It's a poster-based campaign where we just encourage our kids in schools and colleges to greet each other and to greet their educators. And although it sounds like such a simple thing, Julie, it is a thing that has had such an impact within changing the culture of a school, changing the relationship between an educator and a learner. Simple thing, but such an effective thing. And then we'll also have our Courage to Care campaign towards the third quarter of the year, where we're looking at collecting school shoes for learners who sit in rural schools, many of them not given any kind of uniform. And yet, even within poor households within South Africa, we have situations where there's a pair of school shoes that's broken. Nobody wants to wear it, but they will be an absolute treasure to a kid in a rural school. So we have continuous campaigns focusing on the courage to care, the courage to live, the courage to say no.
And that's where we leave it. It's been an absolute pleasure talking with you. I do hope to connect up with you sometime soon in the future. Continue the amazing work. God bless.
Thank you. God bless you and the listeners. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Bye. That was Viola Manuel, MOT Country Director, talking to us about Youth Day and Youth Month, and the footprint of this Norwegian NGO or NPO in South Africa making a huge difference. It is 11:28 news, pardon, midday, the mid-morning show moving along. And just remind you that our next interview is with Dr. Bianca van der Westhuizen, and we are going to be talking about the obesity crisis in South Africa.